Hello, everybody. You can call me Hunch, and we're going to do a stacks update. We're going to be talking about the market overall and what's going on. If you're new here, I was a huge stacks bull, Bitcoin DeFi. I've kind of hit some big ones during the early bull run. Started the early bull run with Bitcoin DeFi and things like Track and Ghosty Cash. But now I've kind of once all those pumped, I'm kind of consolidating. Right, I consolidated Bitcoin stacks, some L1s like AVAX. Solano, so on and so forth. So I'm going to be talking about all those. I'm going to be talking about Stacks now. Stacks absolutely got obliterated a few weeks ago after all the influencers were talking about it. I made a video about it being something that I'm divesting from, right? If it pumps again. There's just a whole lot of problems. I started a lot of commotion with some other people on Twitter. I think the team is responding fairly well, right? And now the proof is in the pudding, right? We need Leather Wallet to release a mobile wallet. We need Stacking DAO to release some tokens, right? I don't know what they're doing, if they're waiting for the masses to come on board. But I do think they're forming better communication. I'm seeing signs of life in terms of the Stacks Foundation mentioning protocols, so on and so forth, people changing the narrative about how it should be community focused and so on and so forth. So I am seeing progress. And I don't think Stacks is going to die, right? I don't think that. I've never said that. But what I have said is if it pumps, it might be good to go into things, other things that might be pumping more, right? And not getting obliterated. Now, if you're a long-term investor, I think it's great to just like stake it and chill, collect your Bitcoin. I do think it could be a winner in the long term. There's a lot of passionate people, a lot of brilliant people in Stacks, but it's definitely not degenerate enough. So that's what I'm thinking. Anyway, let's talk about the market overall. If you look at some of the things that you might want to be positioned in, it's the things that have recovered insanely well when Bitcoin has recovered after this dump, right? This AI agent, right, and its virtual underlying protocol, right, from Base or the Base chain, which is the Coinbase Ethereum L2. Now, the tricky thing about this market is narrative shifts so quickly from NFTs to AI agents, to L1s, to Bitcoin DeFi. And that's the reason I've been talking so badly about Stacks as well is, well, there's a few reasons, right? But Bitcoin DeFi is just not catching the narrative, right? And maybe it will, right? But it seems short-lived. One of the main, while I'm thinking about it, one of the other main things about Stacks, and I'll just bring up the chart so you know what I'm talking about, is, and sorry for all my drawings here, is, when the Nakamoto release came and I was trying to do transactions, I posted that 90% of my transactions were failing and everyone was kind of ignoring me. And then the price collapsed, right? So you don't have that stability of the price. I kind of went on a tear, right? And now they're upgrading it more, so I'm starting to see those improvements that I'm looking for. But that lack of or that ambivalence towards the network not doing what it's supposed to do was a huge red flag, right? So I'm going to call that out every time. Now, in terms of what I think, if you're just in it for the long term, some things that are kind of fairly valued right now that aren't catching bids, right? TIA. This is a big VC type coin under the Cosmos ecosystem. Clearly, I think there is some type of utility to this. AVAX, right? This is the AVAX BTC chart, right? You almost have this triple bottom or quadruple bottom or double bottom, however you want to label it. So I do think that could pump at some point. And now everybody's going to tell me, oh, look, at some point, this is the Stacks BTC chart. We should pump back up. And I agree. We are going to pump at some point. I do believe that. The question is, do you want to be all in, right? And I'm typically all in on things that I like. And I do think if this pumps, right, you maybe want to take some chips off the table. It's shown its head enough. I still believe that. I love Stacks still. I do think it's catching a bid. I do think if you look at some of the tweets about some of the investors, big investors, right, this is Earl. He's talking about the community and being passionate, right? We're included in that. And I agree. I do think that Bitcoin is going to flow through Stacks. The question is, are we maximizing the returns in this last year of the bull market if the bull market continues, right? And you can see it in all these big investors or these people with big companies, right? And this is refreshing because I made all these things yesterday, all these, what do you call it? Web browsers yesterday. And, these people still believe in this, and the community is adapting. They're changing. I think they're great. I love stacks. The only way I think stacks really outperforms this bull cycle is if Bitcoin DeFi catches a bid, right? And like maybe like a big company invests in Bitcoin DeFi, right? You have like a BlackRock or a JP Morgan or you know, some type of banking system building on stacks or whatever the case may be. So still bullish. It's just like, are you going to want to be all in if stacks has a pump, right? I don't know, right? I don't know if that's the play. I think that's more of the play at the start of the bear market, or when at the bottom of the bear market you start going back to stacks, right? Anyway, so some good plays, right? AVAX, TIA, not catching bids, right? So I know that stacks is not exclusive in this problem, but absolutely I should be diversifying. You guys probably should be diversifying, not financial advice. Do whatever you want, but that's what I'm thinking at this point. Again, I do think the community is advancing, right? This MetaMask is now hiring for people who can work on the Lightning Network and Runes and BRC20s and Stacks and Rootstock and Spider Chain, right? So, you know, don't get tunnel vision. Stacks is in there. So for MetaMask being that big wallet on Ethereum, so obviously they're trying to incorporate Bitcoin ecosystem in it. So I do think we are making progress. Fluid tokens, which is a DeFi protocol. If you don't know what that is, you can go check them out. DeFi protocol. Should we release Fluid on stacks? Right, you can go see it. Lending, staking, dashboard. Some people I know in the community, they're making another type of pumped up fund. So I think that people are here and they really believe in this. It's just how much is going to catch a bid, right? At this point, right? Do you want to be an AI agents and check the bid, or do you want to kind of diversify? I really can't chase narratives like memes and AI agents and whatever the case may be. I think it's just better to be positioned in L1s. So if one of them catches a bid, you know, like Solana or AVAX or TIA or some L2s, right, that you can benefit from this bull run, absolutely, without a doubt. Okay, and then the last thing, you know, this is a wild card. I rode track up to $7. This was a monstrous play at one point. It's absolutely obliterated at this point. So this is a risky play. If you do want to get back in the track, I mean, if it's going to bottom, it's going to bottom shortly, right? I mean, this is absolutely obliterated. So I'm not going to be doing it personally, right? I got a little bit at this point, but I've mostly divested, consolidated for the bull run. But this would be quite the interesting thing. So again, here's my stacks update. I'm not against stacks. I love stacks. I've been in stacks for 4 years. But unless Bitcoin DeFi really becomes the hot narrative, it might be better to diversify, right? And then stick with stacks for the long term. Anyway, you can call me Hunch. This is my stacks update. I'll be up.